4 years ago, when we prayed together for the first time, we stood in Gray Chapel and I prayed this prayer for you and your parents that night. Since then, we have prayed together in so many different ways, for so many different occasions. But today, I return to the first prayer together and again ask that you turn now to your parents and to any other significant other who may become like a parent to you, and pray with your eyes wide open. Let us pray. That night she gave a labor-laden sigh, and then they held this newborn in their arms, and all the charms and harms of family, now 2 decades thick with memory. All the tears and tears of childhood, skinned up knees and egg-shelled egos, cracked with fragile fears and brilliant shining hope. The scope of future dreams now underway. Today, we give a labor-laden sigh. With opened arms and hearts, we say goodbye. And all the charms and harms of growing up, now 2 decades far too quickly gone. They stand before you here today, O God. We bid your blessing on their family. We bid your blessing on this passage rite, and give you thanks for all that's yet to be. Shalom, salam, namaste, shanti, shanti.
Trustees, faculty, staff, parents, friends, and most importantly, members of the Ohio Wesleyan University class of 2013. Welcome to the occasion of these commencement exercises. 4 years ago, in a few cases more, and in some cases less, you chose to enroll at OWU in part because of your understanding of the value of a liberal arts education as the best preparation for a life of meaning, purpose, leadership, and prosperity. Here at OWU, you have embraced and benefited from a curriculum that challenged you to explore widely a variety of disciplines of knowledge, giving you a multitude of perspectives from which to address the complex issues awaiting your generation. You mastered the content and methods of a particular discipline, plumbing the depths of what has been learned in the past, and in many cases conducting original research that allowed you already as an undergraduate to make a contribution to the scholarship in your chosen field of study. You were challenged to develop capacities for critical and analytical thinking, to become persuasive in shaping and presenting an argument, to gain an appreciation for the arts, to understand the subtlety of nuance, to honor diversity, and to acknowledge the underlying values that give shape and meaning to your life. Your education took root in the classroom, laboratory, performance hall, studio, athletic field, residence hall, Ham-Will, library, and on the jaywalk. You seized the opportunity to connect theory to practice and to take your education beyond the walls of the classroom and the boundaries of the campus. You traveled to Tanzania, India, Brazil, Ireland, China, Japan, and Bangladesh, just to name a few of the dozens of countries that helped shape your education. You benefited from faculty who challenged you, encouraged you, provoked you, cared for you, and held you to the highest standards. You were supported by staff who were there for you in countless ways, and you came to know one another as friends and companions in relationships that will nourish you for the remainder of your life. You were encouraged by family members and friends who surround you today, filled with pride for what you have accomplished and for who you have become. One of your parents said to me a few days ago, the graduate who crosses the stage on Sunday is not the person we left in your hands 4 years ago. You have made an impact here at OWU. You brought energy and passion to sustainability efforts on campus. You played instrumental roles in the development of the Healthy Bishop Initiative. You helped envision the restored Stuyvesant Hall, and you brought the building back to life when it was restored and when it reopened this year and you returned to live there. You embraced the OWU Connection, and you proposed fascinating experiences supported by Tippett grants, far exceeding our initial aspirations for the program. You won accolades for your research, for your creativity, and for your performances. You won championships and individual recognition in athletic competition. You welcomed Governor Romney and Mrs. Obama to Delaware. You created new spring break mission trips, and you answered the call to serve in amazing ways. 3 of you won Charles Ping Awards, the first time any class has produced that record in community service. 4 years ago, when we gathered in Gray Chapel for your matriculation convocation, I closed my remarks with these words. When you walk out of this grand chapel tonight, you will be surrounded by historic trees that have graced this campus since the founding of this university. Their roots run deep, and their branches spread wide. Over the next 4 years, your roots here will go deep, and in the 50 years that follow, your branches will spread wide. When the class of 2013 returns for its 50-year reunion in 2063, you will have your own stories to tell about the way your OWU roots have nourished your life and about the differences those roots have made for you and for those around you. I said that night the parable of the Chinese bamboo tree suggests that it takes a Chinese bamboo tree 4 years after planting to finally break ground. That is, nothing appears to happen for 4 years after the seed is planted. Eventually, a small bulb and a little shoot emerge, but all of the growth during the first 4 years is underground as the tree builds a deep, fibrous root structure. During the 5th year, the Chinese bamboo tree can grow up to 80 feet. All of that growth is above ground because the tree has massive roots to support it. I said that night there is something in that parable that is relevant tonight. The next 4 years offer you the opportunity to develop the deep, fibrous root system that will nourish and sustain the remainder of your life. I have up on the stage here bamboo shoots that were given to 2 of you 4 years ago and returned to me in the last 2 days by the Clark and Finkler families. Today, your roots at OWU run more deeply than you could have imagined 4 years ago. Now it is time for your branches to spread because of your experience here. The recent release of the movie 42 reminds us of the difference one can make as a result of time on this campus. In the spring of 1903, following an experience with an African-American teammate while traveling in South Bend, Indiana, Branch Rickey made a commitment that somehow, somewhere, he would do something about racial injustice in this land. Branch Rickey did not know when he was a student at Ohio Wesleyan in 1903 that in 1947, against the advice of everyone else in Major League Baseball, he would partner with Jackie Robinson to break the color barrier in America's pastime and help set the stage for the civil rights movement. But he knew the commitment that he made at Ohio Wesleyan, and he never forgot it. As an OU graduate, you have the benefits of an education offered to a very small proportion of the global population. You are an elite company. With those benefits come responsibilities. You are ready to accept those responsibilities. And with the idealism that characterizes your class in such powerful ways, I know that you, like Branch Rickey and so many others before you, will make a difference in the world in ways that none of us can imagine today. In the spring of 1850, a dispirited student at Emory and Henry College wrote in his diary this prayer about his education: "O Lord, teach me how to think and how to choose." I can think of no better summary of the values of a liberal arts education, such as the one you have received here. Here at OU, you have learned to think deeply and to choose wisely. You are ready, and the world is waiting. Congratulations and Godspeed.
On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I am pleased to extend congratulations to the Ohio Wesleyan University class of 2013. The trustees join me in saluting you for your many accomplishments in the classroom, your extraordinary leadership outside of the classroom, and your individual and collective commitments to making the world a better place. I am honored to be able to share commencement with you, and I wish you the best in the years ahead. Now it is my pleasure to join Provost Chuck Steinmetz in recognizing the recipients of this year's faculty awards. The first award is the Daniel E. Anderson Award for Service, based on commitment to the common good. This award is given only when an individual, through a lifetime of very special service, demonstrates a principled commitment to the common good of the campus and the greater Delaware community. Dr. Steinmetz will now present the recipient of the Daniel E. Anderson Award.
The Daniel E. Anderson Award goes to the Director of the Perkins Observatory and Professor of English, Tom Burns. Tom, please join me at the podium. Tom has a special connection to another Ohio Wesleyan faculty who gave selflessly, Hiram Perkins. Just as Hiram did before him, Tom has given endlessly to Ohio Wesleyan and our community, whether leading a stargazing session at Perkins Observatory, writing articles for local newspapers, tutoring students in the Academic Resource Center, or helping a student polish an assignment in one of his courses. His contributions to our institution make Ohio Wesleyan a better place, and all those who work with him better people. Congratulations, Tom.
The Libius L. Reed Endowed Professorship is awarded annually to a professor who exemplifies the same teaching values that Libby Reed portrayed during her tenure as a faculty member in the Department of English from 1951 to 1984. The Reed Professorship is funded through gifts from Libby's friends and former students. Dr. Steinmetz will now present the recipient of the Libius L. Reed Endowed Fellowship.
I am pleased to announce that the recipient of the Reed Professorship for the academic years 2013, 2014, and 2014, 2015 is Dr. Vicki DeLillo, Professor of Psychology. Vicki, please join me at the podium. Dr. DeLillo models all the characteristics of this award. She has high expectations of her students, helps them forge connections between disciplines and connections to their daily lives, and serves as a critical friend and mentor, and supports students both in and outside the classroom. Please join me again in congratulating Dr. DeLillo.
The Bishop Herbert Welch Award for Scholarly or Artistic Achievement is given for distinguished scholarship or artistic achievement of an Ohio Wesleyan faculty member. The award is given for a distinguished body of work or for an individual accomplishment. Dr. Steinmetz will now come forward to present the recipient of the Welch Award for Scholarly or Artistic Achievement.
I am delighted to announce that the winner of the first Welch Award for Scholarly Artistic Achievement is Dr. Don Latiner, Professor of Humanities and Classics. Don, please join me at the podium. Throughout a long career at Ohio Wesleyan, Dr. Latiner has continued to consistently contribute to his academic field through the publication of books, papers, and numerous presentations throughout the world. Dr. Latiner, congratulations for your sustained high level of scholarship throughout your career. Congratulations.
The Sherwood Dodge Shanklin Award for Encouragement of Teachers was established and endowed in 1963 by the late William H. and Frances Shanklin Ryan of Sacramento, California, to identify, encourage, and honor Ohio Wesleyan faculty members with high potentials as teachers. The recipient is chosen by the Faculty Personnel Committee upon recommendation by the faculty, staff, students, and alumni. Dr. Steinmetz will now present the recipient of the Sherwood Dodge Shanklin Award.
I am pleased to announce that the winner of the Sherwood Dodge Shanklin Award for 2013 is Dr. Rochelle Schrock. Rochelle, please join me at the podium. Dr. Schrock offers courses in our Women's and Gender Studies program that engage students, challenge their established perspectives, connect students to the community outside of the classroom, and creates a learning environment that promotes the well-rounded development of student values. Please join me again in congratulating Dr. Schrock.
The Bishop Herbert Welch Meritorious Teaching Award was established in 1962 by the New York Alumni Association to recognize outstanding Ohio Wesleyan faculty. Recipients are selected by the Faculty Personnel Committee based on distinguished service in teaching that has made a significant contribution to the academic climate of Ohio Wesleyan. Dr. Steinmetz will now come forward to present this year's recipient of the Bishop Herbert Welch Meritorious Teaching Award.
Ohio Wesleyan's most distinguished prize is the Bishop Herbert Welch Meritorious Teaching Award. I'm delighted to announce that the winner of the Welch Award for 2013 is Dr. Richard Levy, Professor of Psychology. Dick, please join me at the podium. Dr. Levy's work in the classroom is admired by both his colleagues and students. Students indicate that he has the remarkable ability to know when to instruct, when to lead, and when to guide students in their understanding of difficult material. He emphasizes the application of theory to practice outside the classroom. Further, he has provided exceptional educational opportunities to a wide number of students by directing a large number of internships, apprenticeships, independent studies, and directed readings. He gives of himself limitlessly to the students under his direction and never asks for anything in return. Dr. Levy, it's a real pleasure to congratulate you on receiving the Bishop Herbert Welch Meritorious Teaching Award. Congratulations.
I add my word of congratulations and gratitude to each of these faculty members who have been recognized, and to note again that these awards are selected by a peer of faculty through the Faculty Personnel Committee, and there is perhaps no greater honor than to be recognized by one's peers in the faculty. The Adam Poe Medal was established in 1953, named in honor of the minister of William Street Methodist Episcopal Church, who gathered signatures and financial pledges for the founding of Ohio Wesleyan in 1842. The Adam Poe Medal is presented to OWU faculty members and administrators in recognition of long and valued service to the university, and is presented at the time of their retirement. A personalized biography of each recipient is included in your commencement program. Dr. Alice Simon, in recognition of his 30 years of service, will you please present Professor John Booz, the R.W. Corns Professor of Management and Accounting in the Department of Economics, for the Adam Poe Medal. Dr. Stephanie Merkel, in recognition of his 34 years of service, will you please present Dr. Donald Latiner, the John R. Wright Professor of Humanities Classics, for the Adam Poe Medal. Would you please join me in another round of applause for all of these outstanding members of our faculty who have been recognized today. Today's commencement speaker demonstrates for members of the Ohio Wesleyan family that professional accomplishment, successful leadership, and stewardship for causes that matter can and do go hand in hand. George Conrades, a 1961 graduate of Ohio Wesleyan, is chairman and former CEO of Massachusetts-based Akamai Technologies, a world leader in internet content delivery. To say that George is one of the nation's most accomplished entrepreneurs and corporate leaders, while very true, does not do justice to his innovative spirit, and as a dear former OWU professor of George's once said, quote, his ability to lead and bring people together to look at new things, end quote. It was in the late 1950s when George first confronted a room-sized IBM 650 computer. What followed at the suggestion of an Ohio Wesleyan faculty member was a successful 31-year career with IBM, beginning as a marketing representative and progressing to high-level managerial positions, including leadership of IBM Asian Pacific and ultimately service as Senior Vice President of IBM United States, followed by positions as CEO at Bolt, Beranek, and Newman, and President of GTE Internetworking. Joining Akamai in 1999 as CEO provided George a setting to blend his enormous creative and entrepreneurial energy with his business savvy, vast experience in technology, telecommunications, and the internet to develop and implement a vision that led to the rapid growth of the company. All the while, he says, learning that, quote, you grow your business through innovation and serving your customers, end quote. Throughout his extraordinary career as a corporate leader, George and his wife Patsy, a 1963 Ohio Wesleyan graduate, have remained closely connected and supportive of their alma mater. As a team, George and Patsy have demonstrated unparalleled generosity and inspiration for the OWU family. They have served as Ohio Wesleyan as volunteers in every capacity. They have hosted numerous OWU events. Each has served as a trustee and now life trustee of Ohio Wesleyan. George served as chair of the Board of Trustees, and Patsy served as co-chair of the recently completed $172 million capital campaign. They have provided counsel to OWU presidents and guidance to countless students during their visits to campus through the years. Their philanthropy has touched every aspect of Ohio Wesleyan, most notably through support of the George Conrades Science Center, the David O. Robbins Neuroscience Program, and 3 new faculty positions, the Meek Aquatics and Recreation Center, and generous support of the programs that assist our students in every aspect of their OWU experience. Their passion for Ohio Wesleyan is exceeded only by their commitment to one another and their love for their family, many of whom are with us today. Their generous support of Ohio Wesleyan reflects a deeper commitment to serving the common good in every aspect of their lives. Patsy, who may not bleed red and black, but is wearing red and black every time I see her, entered nursing school at the age of 52 so that she could provide even greater service after 30 years of volunteer work following her graduation from Ohio Wesleyan. She volunteers regularly at Volunteers in Medicine, a clinic in Stuart, Florida, that provides medical care for indigent people. And she serves as a volunteer at Boston's Mount Auburn Hospital. Her desire to care for those in the greatest need and with the most limited resources reflects her deep commitment to the common good, a commitment that was fostered by her family and her experience as a student at Ohio Wesleyan. She was recently honored by her dear friend and fellow OWU alumna, Dr. Nancy Schneider of the class of '64, with a gift naming the Patricia Belt Conrades Summer Science Symposium at OWU. I'd like to ask Patsy to stand so that we can recognize her as well. With lives marked by both accomplishment and service at the highest levels, George and Patsy Conrades point to their time at Ohio Wesleyan as providing a foundation on which their life together has been built. They are intense advocates for the values of liberal education, and their passion for their alma mater inspires us all. It gives me great pleasure to introduce one of Ohio Wesleyan's closest friends and dearest treasures, George Conrades.
Thank you, Brock, for that very kind introduction. And I'm sure Patsy thanks you too, even though she was embarrassed to stand up. Thank you, trustees, splendid faculty, administrators, families, and friends. And thank you to all the mothers that are out here today. Congratulations, graduates. Look at you, all your excited faces. I enjoyed seeing you come down the path. You made it. It's a big day. It's a big milestone in your lives. Now, I want you to work with me for a second here. Think back to your first day on campus. Give me a show of hands. How many of you think it was just like yesterday? Well, of course you feel that way. And I can assure you that the ensuing years will go just as fast. This year, Patsy, actually next week, will return to campus for her 50th reunion. And just 2 years ago, I celebrated mine, class of 1961. Luckiest thing that's happened to me in the last 50 years was to marry Patsy. I can still see her pretty face across those counters at the Hamburger Inn. The same counters. 3 of our 4 daughters are here today, including Laura, class of 88, and Anna, wouldn't it be terrible if I forgot her name? Anna, class of 03. Now, when I get to the preachy part of this commencement address, and there always is one, you know, they're going to be rolling their eyes and saying, oh, here we go again. Well, 50 years from now, you're going to return, most of you will return to campus for your 50th reunion. That's also a big deal, another milestone in your life. These milestones are a bit like bookends. You know, today you're focused on the immediate. It's like watching a video game. At your 50th, it'll be like unfolding a map, tracing the pathways that you've taken, sharing life's blessings and stories of heartbreak and, yes, some loss. But the one thing that will be for certain is you'll all be saying, it all went so fast. So here's another question for you. Did you get the most out of your time here at Ohio Wesleyan? Did you study as hard as you could have? You don't have to raise your hands on these questions. What about the courses you wish you had taken or the ones you avoided? Did you get to spend as much time with a particular professor as you wished you had? Or did you make the most of extracurricular opportunities? Well, there's no redo. You can only focus on what's ahead, to make the most about what's ahead, and do that by showing up on time, dressed to play, every day. You faced some challenges. When Patsy and I started out in the early 60s, the economy was booming. Jobs were plentiful, unemployment was low, the middle class was thriving. There were recruiters, company recruiters, all over this campus. It was a great time to enter the workforce. Now, we weren't entitled to that. We inherited that from the generations that went before us, who made very significant sacrifices for us, especially during World War II. Unfortunately, you inherit some severe economic headwinds, and that's because America is not as good as it could be. Because the generations that have gone before you, including mine, have not been as good as we could be. We have let entitlement and complacency to inhibit your prosperity. The relentless forces of technological change and globalization are wreaking havoc on our undereducated youth. It is extremely challenging to find a job these days. We've let our K through 12 education system fall so far behind. It's an embarrassing 17th in the world, 14th in reading, 17th in 22nd in science, 27th in math. And some studies tell us that if you look at all the sciences and math, we rank 45th in the world. That's an embarrassment. One study, as I mentioned, 45th in the world. All of this reflects an inability on the part of these young people to compete for jobs. That not only increases the divide between haves and have-nots, it threatens economic prosperity for all of us. And worse, we are denying these young people the opportunity to earn their own success in their lifetimes. Now, as students, you already have earned national recognition for 5 years in a row for your dedication to service to others, so I know you care. But one solution to this K through 12 problem is to allow our students and their parents, the operative word here is allow, more choice in their public schools, and charters are a great example. Our government spending is out of control. We spend $4 trillion a year, 25% of it borrowed, piling up debt at the rate of $2.5 million a minute, borrowing from you, borrowing from your children, to fund people like me and other so-called entitlements. We cannot continue to borrow from the future if you are to have economic prosperity in your lifetimes. You don't have to be one of you economics majors to understand that. We need an honest budget that forces us to make the necessary choices, to live within our means, and to find new ways of doing things. Frankly, I think our politics are pathetic. We have extremism on the left, we have extremism on the right, no common sense, no common ground. There's lots of rhetoric about the what. You want an example? Nowhere. Lack of political leadership, nowhere, because of lack of courage to make the sacrifices for you. It gored just about everybody's ox, and nobody wanted to move first. Well, some of you are now saying, OMG, what a buzzkill on my special day. And who invited you to speak? Well, Zeke Frechtel, your senior class president, invited me to speak, but he thought I was going to talk about the future of technology. Why am I telling you this? Because as soon-to-be leaders in our society, you have a critical role to play. Less than a third of Americans have a college degree, and you have one of the best. And as leaders, we really need you. We really need you to make things better. You can help show us the way, and you can help show us how. Well, even Patsy says I need to like that. She said, you know, you're like that guy that went to the psychiatrist, mumbling, wigwam, tiki, wigwam, tiki, wigwam, tiki. The psychiatrist said, I know exactly what's the matter with you. You're too tense. Awful. Awful. Actually, I'm pretty optimistic about you guys and your generation. How do I know that? Well, Libby Reed keeps sending me articles about you. She clips from all the newspapers all the time. So I do have the opportunity to keep up with you. Pretty optimistic. You see value in one another. You're much more open to new ideas from all over the world than my generation. You've eagerly embraced the opportunity to turn theory into practice with your international experiences here at Ohio Wesleyan. You live in a hyper-connected world with access to vast amounts of information. You know, you hear everybody talk about 24/7. Well, now the expression is 1440. Anybody know what that is? Minutes in a day. That promises more transformational change every day than what's happened in the 50 years since the widespread introduction of the computer. You have enormous opportunities in the private sector. The engine of America's prosperity, that's where real economic value is generated. That's where real value is generated. Whether you're helping to grow a business, expand the reach of a nonprofit, or create the new. But here's the goal, here's the issue. When the goal is to be the best you can be, there are no timeouts. You got to show up every day on time just to play. But to do what? Well, you're blessed with differentiating cognitive skills, or you wouldn't be sitting here with your about-to-be diplomas given to you. So the question becomes, what do you exist to be? What are you committed to do? Have you ever thought about that? You may worry about it, but have you really thought about what you want to do? Well, I encourage you to write it down. And maybe you'll rewrite it over time, but write it down. Here's some examples. I exist to help others as the best teacher, doctor, nurse, volunteer, first responder, leader in a nonprofit or in government or in the military. I exist to improve people's lives as the best musician, artist, college professor, philanthropist, mother, father. I exist to create value as the best entrepreneur, researcher, engineer, venture capitalist, to expand jobs as the best manager or leader in business, or whatever is in the back of your mind. I know one of you wants to be a pharmacist. At IBM, I wanted to be the best manager I could be, to work with people toward common goals. So after 26 years, I finally became a senior vice president and a group executive before leaving to become the CEO of 2 high technology companies. It is not the titles. It is the joy of working with others toward common goals, common ground. At Akamai, we began 15 years ago with just a handful of believers. And today we're a Fortune 500 company, 3,000 employees. We deliver up to 30% of the web traffic every day. Competition, you betcha. It's hockey, not golf, but it's so much fun. So whatever you exist to be, you better love it, or you won't be very happy. You won't be very good at it. You won't be the best you can be. So you get the idea, write it down. Now, by the way, you can create 2 exist-to-bes, one for your professional life and one for your partner in parental life. For each, you're going to want to include your values, but save those for a separate page, a page on which you put things I'll always do and things I'll never do. Always do's have a lot to do with others. Do you know who said, only a life lived for others is worth living? Anybody know? Albert Einstein. Who knew he was such a liberal arts kind of guy? Speaking of energy, how about always be a giver of energy, not a taker? Infect others with your passion. Rock Jones does that. How about inspire others, where the measure of their success will be your own? Well, Professor Burt does that. And what we've just learned is so does Professors Burns, Delio, Latiner, Schrock, and Levy. Or always be open to new ideas, seek the truth, pursue innovation. Paul Schimmel does that. He's the name on the Schimmel Conrades Science Center you can actually read from a distance. I don't know why I got the red. Maybe it's because he is a world-renowned scientist. How about always be nice? It costs nothing. Just remember the golden rule and go first. Sheryl Sandberg, the chief operating officer of Facebook, says to women, lean in, always believe in yourself. Well, I'm with her, believe in women. Until just recently, 4 of the 9 directors on Akamai's board were women. And they always ask the hard questions and get to the point. Well, how about things I'll never do? Well, never do's are often about things you'll never do to yourself. What about violate another's trust? It takes a long time to get that back, if ever. How about sacrifice your integrity? Only you may know in the short run, but it can haunt you. How about diminish your potential through drugs or alcohol? Those things can creep up on you and you'll never know what you could have been. You know, you already know about a lot of these things I've just been talking about. Rather than be too preachy, you just say to you, we've all been there. Here's one. Never dismiss an idea from any source without due consideration. Don't let your prejudices get in the way. And never let political correctness or the insistence on equal outcomes menace your liberties. There's nothing wrong with individual ambition. In fact, it's the basis of all mankind's progress. Whether at home or at work, the team needs you to be the best you can be. A few days ago, Patsy was helping a woman in that clinic for the indigent in Florida who had just lost her job, already lost her husband, and had 3 grandsons living with her in her trailer. And that wonderful woman said to Patsy, you know, life is not always fair, but you make your own life, and I keep trying. Make your own life. That woman could have given this talk. Never give up. Never take yourself out of the game. Persistence, tenacity. That does take an optimistic attitude. Now, Charles Swindoll wrote some wonderful lines about this. You may have heard this before, but it's worth repeating. He said, the remarkable thing we have is a choice every day regarding the attitude we will embrace for that day. We cannot change our past. We cannot change the inevitable. The only thing we can do is to play on that one string that we have, and that is our attitude. He says, I'm convinced that life is 10% what happens to me and 90% how I react to it. Show up on time. What does on time mean? Well, it shows you care about others, that you're eager to get things done together. You know, it takes practice to do that, and excellence is a habit because you can always get better. Neuroscientists tell us that it takes about 10,000 hours for a human being to become world class at an activity. That's 3 hours a day for 10 years. Whoa. But we all don't need to be surgeons or concert pianists or professional athletes. No matter what you exist to be, fundamental to being the best you can be is to practice world-class relationships with others. And I'm not talking about your 8 zillion friends on Facebook, all the followers on Twitter, or the unending requests for connections on LinkedIn. I'm talking about face-to-face relationships, relationships that matter, based on mutual respect, based on earned trust, with people where you can get things done together. My suggestion to you is to work on your golden Rolodex. Now, half of you don't know what a Rolodex is, but it's your contact book. But it's filled only with the names of people that can help you get things done, and vice versa. Those relationships have been essential to my career. Today, I try to use those with young people just starting out. Now, it's not easy to build those relationships, and here's why. It takes confidence to admit what you don't know. It takes confidence to listen, learn from others, find common ground. You have to have the confidence to be humble. Think about it. You have to have the confidence to be humble. It takes courage to expose your ideas to others, to risk your ideas, and to test your assumptions. I can't tell you how many times I learned what I didn't know, sometimes embarrassingly so. But in the words of this new country song, you ain't a cowboy if you ain't been bucked off. Right. But now I got the faculty rolling their eyes. This does not mean holding back. To paraphrase Marianne Williams, she says, your playing small does not serve the world. Let your light shine. And in doing so, liberate that of others. Our far-sighted alum, Branch Rickey, in the movie 42, says to Jackie Robinson in response to Jackie Robinson's question, how do you want me to act? He said, show the world you're a fine man and a great baseball player. Show up on time, just to play. It means you've done your homework, They're hard at getting the facts. They're eager to pursue common ground, to get things done together with infectious energy, passion, confidence, and courage. Show up on time, dress for them. That is all that's expected of you, whatever you exist to be. Now, one final thought. Under your always do this, keep God in your life. Stay close to God, because if you do, over the next 50 years, you're going to be drawn closer and closer to God. And your always do's and your never do's will have the richness, depth, and integrity, the values that will truly inspire others, and absolutely define you as the best you can be. Thanks for listening. Godspeed.
Thank you, George, for your thoughtful and inspiring words and for your constant affection and leadership for Ohio Wesleyan. Now, as we recognize the achievements of the Ohio Wesleyan class of 2013, I call on Ms. Shelley McMahon, University Registrar, to present the candidates for degrees in course.
Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Fine Arts please rise? On behalf of the faculty and Board of Trustees of the University, I have the honor to present these candidates as duly qualified to receive the degree of Bachelor of Fine Arts.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty and by the approval of the Board of Trustees and by the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and under the laws of the state of Ohio, I hereby confer upon each of you the degree of Bachelor of Fine Arts with all of the rights, honors, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Ms. McMahon will present the individual candidates as they come forward to receive their diplomas.
Molly Charlotte Curry, cum laude. Chelsea Kilmer Dipman, cum laude. Allison Natalie Hayes, cum laude. Ashley Marie Johnston. Chelsea Scott Leeds, summa cum laude. Danielle Josephine Musina, summa cum laude. Logan Parker Osborne. Paige Tinsley Phillips. Stephanie Suzanne Reeder. Brandon John Sega. Catherine Spence Godin. Laura Zoe Troyer Joy. Victoria Marie Veach, cum laude. Catherine Elizabeth Wegener, cum laude. Andrew Ivan Wilson. Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Music please rise? On behalf of the faculty and Board of Trustees of the University, I have the honor to present these candidates as duly qualified to receive the degree of Bachelor of Music.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty and with approval of the Board of Trustees, and by the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and under the laws of the state of Ohio, I hereby confer upon each of you the degree of Bachelor of Music, with all of the rights, honors, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. The candidates will come forward as they are announced.
Elizabeth Susan Blakesley, magna cum laude. Joshua Andrew Decker. Michael Brett Irvin. Samantha Elizabeth Mason. Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts please rise? On behalf of the faculty and Board of Trustees of the university, I have the honor to present these candidates as duly qualified to receive the degree of Bachelor of Arts.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty and approval of the Board of Trustees, and by the authority invested in me by the Board of Trustees and under the laws of the state of Ohio, I hereby confer upon each of you the degree of Bachelor of Arts, with all of the rights, honors, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. The candidates will please come forward as they are announced.
Sina Obabio. Kathleen Pamela Augustin. Jordan Jamil Ahmed. Lauren Michelle Ailes. Aubrey Lynn Alamshaw. Sarah Marie Allen. Alexander Joseph Alonso. Emily Ray Ambergy. Elizabeth L. Anderson. Margaret Claire Argero, cum laude. Natalie Kathleen Ahmed. Megan Elizabeth Batchelder, cum laude. Michaela A. Back. Margaret Anderson Bagnell. Lauren Charlotte Bailey. Sarah Rapia Bomba. Amanda K. Barker. Wesley Michael Barnes. Elizabeth Marie Bartz, cum laude. Patrick Duffy Bassett. Elizabeth Aubrey Bennett. Hannah Elena Ruth Benzing. Danielle Rose Bernard, cum laude. Amanda Marie Berry, cum laude. Amanda Todd Bone. Jacob Jacob Cullen Linnell. Magna cum laude. Krishna Vorhara. Devin Elaine Bradley. Shane M. Brandt. Charles Ezekiel Brechtel, cum laude. Jesse Ray Vilhart. Brian McLean Brockman. Christopher David Brooks, summa cum laude. Artes Yvette Brown. Ashley Taylor Wallace Brown. Calvin Joseph Brown. Kelsey McQuail Brown. Derek James Bruno. Chelsea Lynn Buchanan. Catherine Ann Buckingham, cum laude. Benjamin James Burwell. Jessica Caitlin Butcher. Anthony Michael Vazolka. Caitlin M. Fuzza. Kenneth Robert Callahan III. Reed Michael Callahan, cum laude. Tessa Paul Cannon, cum laude. Brittany Lynn Carpenter. Michael R. Cartier. Richard Douglas Cassingham. Alejandra Castellero. Corey Joseph Castelli. Ethan Robert Chapman. Edward Lynn Chin. Elizabeth Crystal Childers, cum laude. Ryan Askew Renahan Clark. Courtney Elizabeth Cook. Megan Rebecca Cook, summa cum laude. Anne Marie Cooper, cum laude. Callie Ann Cranaccia, magna cum laude. Yelena Jessica Kulabali. Alexandra Lucille Crump. Sarah Elizabeth DeAlexander, cum laude. Kathleen Elizabeth Dalton. Abigail Joy DeCook, magna cum laude. Ellen Kristen Defenderfer, cum laude. Chelsea Renee Dennis. Adam J. Detra. Elizabeth Ann Dybel. Clarelle Jamin. Andrew Leonard dos Santos. Lauren Taylor Marie Dudley, magna cum laude. Veronica Ann Duff, cum laude. Claire Elise Duffy. Eric Andrew Easley. Kimberly Faith Eckert, summa cum laude. Clarice Marie Edwards, magna cum laude. Lauren Elizabeth Jane Elkins. Caitlin Marie Ellis, summa cum laude. Jason C. Emery. Ariel A. Ingle, cum laude. Samantha Lynn Epling, magna cum laude. Justin Emmanuel Ernest. Megan Thomas Esch. Allison Claire Evans. Carla Marie Fager. Lisa A. Faulkner. Amanda Joanne Fawcett. Megan Elizabeth Ferns. Alyssa Justine Ferrando, magna cum laude. Haley Marie Figglestaller. Laura Susan Finkler. William Barrow Ford. Grant Evan Foster. Natasha Ann Fronchek. Ethan E. Freed. Seth David Francis. Megan Elizabeth Friss, cum laude. Martha Danielle Frost, cum laude. Zachary Aaron Thomas Laver Fry. Castle Claire Galati, magna cum laude. Justin Andrew Jeruso, magna cum laude. Janie Lynn Golba. Camila Lalive Golden. Elvia Luz Gonzalez. Colin Michael Grenig, summa cum laude.
Grant D. Groff. Keshwan Quo in absentia. Morgan Elizabeth Hall. Carolyn Melissa Halal. Katie Elizabeth Hamer. Jonathan William Harnett. Kyle Austin Harrigan. Maya Harrison, magna cum laude. Tyler Dylan Havman. Yushan Shamir Heyman. Ashley Lauren Haynes. Devin May Heath. Timothy Patrick Heinmiller. Tyler Daniel Hendershot, cum laude. Kayla Lucille Henderson, cum laude. Paul Michael Hendricks, in absentia. Todd Evan Hirschberger. Matthew Benjamin Hill, summa cum laude. Kalina J. Hilliard. Ariel Elizabeth Hively. Lydia Catherine Hofel. Alex Monet Hooper. Andrew Turner Howard. James Menez Huddleston. Jessica E. Hushart, cum laude. Alexander Illick. Ashley Diane Engelwright. Samuel M. Irvine, magna cum laude. Niral Tamir Islam, magna cum laude. Naima Nicole Jackson. Catherine Mary Jacob, magna cum laude. Magdalena Jacobo. Colin Patrick James. Emma E. January, cum laude. Angela Jelanonik. Emily Catherine Johnson. Sarah Jane Johnston, cum laude. Silas William Joliffe, cum laude. Catherine Amelia Giuliani, cum laude. Nathan Michael Cafferty, cum laude. Ramiz Kamarli. Caleb Christian Dale Katz. Elizabeth Ann Keith. Sarah A. Kelleher. Jacob Christopher Karosky. Iqbal Hassan Khan. Tatev Houdinian. Newton S. Kimberly III. Tyler Staniforth Kingsley. Christian Alexander Kissig, cum laude. Paul James Brown Klein. Sidney Kochman, magna cum laude. Allison Rebecca Colby, magna cum laude. Andrea Catherine Kraus. Heather Marie Cook. Rachel Ann Kalanick, cum laude. Frank Daniel Kushner Sanderson, cum laude. Tonisha Marquita Lee. Tyler Scott Lefevre, magna cum laude. Jane Maudsley Lehman, cum laude. Caitlin Mackenzie Lentz, summa cum laude. Sophia Lewis. Samantha Marie Lichtenberger, summa cum laude. Annie Liu, summa cum laude. Michelle Renee Long. William Hunter Long. Nicole Denise Lorette, cum laude. Nathaniel R. Lowe. Laura Louise Lone. Joseph Ross Lagosche. Emily Georgia Lundstrup. Brittany Lynn Lutz, cum laude. Andrea L. McVeigh, magna cum laude. Matthew James Magdick. Peter Joseph Mandich, magna cum laude. Anita A. Marfo. Logan Marie Markins, magna cum laude. Christopher Weldon Marshall, cum laude. Abigail Allen Martin. Christopher William Martin, magna cum laude. Matthew Warren Martin, cum laude. Rachel Marie Martin. Sriharsha Masabathula, magna cum laude. Alan Ramez Masu, magna cum laude. Rachel Ann Matz. Jennifer Lee Maxwell. Megan O'Flaherty McConnell in absentia. Michael Sam McLaughlin. Anthony Gerard McGuire. Michael David McLean. Mary Catherine McNeil. Meredith Brooke Merklin. David Adam Anderson Mertz. Emily June Middleton. Allison Marie Meese. Giselle Isabel Miller. Hudson Miller. Alicia Paige Mitchell. Rose Louise Mahler Jacobs, magna cum laude. Samuel Oluisha Gonomonib. Jerry Michael Moore. Marshall Francis Morris. Lydia Grace Mortensen, magna cum laude. Sarah Christine Mustafi. Rebecca Elizabeth Mull. Paul Franklin Murphy. Galen E. Mutterspaw, cum laude. Swetha Narayan, cum laude. Margaret Grace Naylor. Ginyu Stewart Nadimbi. Brooke Renee Nethers. Christian Guanwi Ng. Allison Elizabeth North, cum laude. Christopher C. North. Max Sykin Novak. Pithwat Nui. Coleman Frederick Oberly. Macaulay Victor O'Connor, cum laude. Gabriela Maria Melgar Ortiz. Jacqueline Akusua Adwubi Osebonsu. Kylie Markel Osteimer. Christopher M. Ostrowski. Claire E. Panacea, magna cum laude. Kathleen Stewart Pappenhagen. Catherine E. Peranzi. Brianna Chelsea Joanna Michael Perez. Ray Perez. Jacob Daniel Pearl.
Ethan Parker Perry. Dung Tree Pham. Trung Duck Pham. Rachel Lauren Piskus. ZJ Poe. Rebecca Leanne Pollard. Rebecca Jane Powditch. Eric Patrick Kromschaffer, cum laude. Ryan Kaylee Ramsey, magna cum laude. Erica Rose Reese, cum laude. John Bruce Ryerson. William J. Rylick. Leah Beth Riley. David Sorn Wrighton. Jessica Lauren Rhodes. Molly Elizabeth Rice, cum laude. Ashley Joy Riefler. Kayla Nicole Riley. Mark Russell Ripper. John Michael Rissell. Jenna Noel Rodke, cum laude. Jan Rung. Colin Michael Roop. Rachel Elizabeth Rose. Scott Usher Rosenthal. Zachary K. Ross. Andrew Michael Rossi. Jacqueline Michelle Roth. Christina Lynn Roxbury. Danielle Rubenstein Towler. Paige R. Rupel, summa cum laude. Suzanne Samin. William Clint Saunders. Emily B. Schuckner. Alexander Cerna Schaefer. Jennifer Elizabeth Schaefer. Helen A. Sheblow. Victoria Ann Schlad, summa cum laude. Kristen S. Schwaka, cum laude. Victoria L. Sellers, summa cum laude. Leah Blaine Schaefer, cum laude. Mumo Sheikh. Tyler James Sheets, magna cum laude. Carly Lynn Shields. Madeline Marianne Shire, cum laude. Mary Logan Levitt Shinnick. Colin J. Short. Iftikhar Ahmed Shapno, cum laude. Cheryl Shriver. Amy Elizabeth Seaman. Devon Marie Sinnott, summa cum laude. Stephen Anthony Scarston. Glenn Skiles. Ian Joseph Scotch, cum laude. Andrew William Sloan. Tim C. Slowick. Jean Alexander Sludge. Kaylee Alexandria Snyder. Vaughn Michael Lawrence Spalding. Anjuan Clayton Spence. Evan Allen Spunholtz. Elizabeth Lee Spraggins. Scott Tyler St. Cyr. Benjamin Elliott Steele. Devin S. Steinberg. Emily Mary Siftar, cum laude. William Harrison Stone. Holly Francine Strain. Robert Nicholas Stryler. Louis Tilgman Strudwick. Matthew Ryan Swaim. Anne Whitney Swanson. Jessica S. Swartz, cum laude. Tyler Robert Swery. Alec Gregory Swazinski. Kimberly Kamiko Tagami. Eri Takauchi. Arthur R. Taylor. William F. Thiemann, cum laude. Matthew Brennan Thomas. Eric D. Tift, magna cum laude. James Allen Toland. Tyler Raymond Tomazik. Rebecca Rose Tompkins, cum laude. Nok Nam Phuam Bao Tran, cum laude. Andrew Allen Tucho. Matthew Douglas Turner. Bradley Paul Turnwald, summa cum laude. Stephanie Lorraine Van Vliet, summa cum laude. Aaron Taylor Vassar. Jamie Lawrence Vevrek. Victoria Marie Veach, cum laude. Brittany Renee Vickers, magna cum laude. Pablo Iglesia Villa, magna cum laude. Jelani Jai Virgo, cum laude. Colleen Elizabeth Wakeman, summa cum laude. Chelsea Amanda Waldo. Candace Lee Walker. Michael Bratfish Tay Walker. Sean McKay Walter. Britannia Jean Wanstrath, cum laude. April Lorraine Warner, cum laude. Levi Lawson Webster. Victoria Jean Weiner. Megan Elizabeth Weissenberger. Claire Christine Whitaker. Gregory Stephen White. Meredith Breck Woolley. Michael Lauren Wigney, cum laude. Kellen T. Williams. Kylie Renee Williams. Elise Danielle Ward. So sorry. Alan Terrell Wilson. Olivia Mary Wilson. Tamara Hope Winkler, magna cum laude. David Brian Winnick. Andrew H. Winters. Brittany Ann Wise. Andy Wittenberg. Madeline Ray Wright. Kai Xi. Dawson Yang. Guanyi Yang, magna cum laude. Brianna Colette Zellner. Nicholas Ryan Zeigenbusch. Lauren Claire Zupsik. Chelsea Renee Zweiler.
We'd like to recognize a collection of groups of special graduating students. Would all students graduating cum laude please rise? Will all students graduating magna cum laude please rise? Will all students graduating summa cum laude please rise? In addition, 3 members of this year's graduating class completed their academic careers at Ohio Wesleyan with grade point averages of 4.0. They are Victoria Schlott, Bradley Turnwald, and Colleen Wakeman. Please stand so that we can recognize you. It is customary at Ohio Wesleyan that the senior class president offers remarks and an expression of gratitude on behalf of his classmates. I am proud to present one of Ohio Wesleyan's newest alumni, senior class president Zeke Brechtel.
Thank you, Rock, for that excellent introduction. Thank you, Mr. Conrades, for an excellent address today at our commencement. My fellow seniors, this past spring break, I went back to my home in Colorado to be with my family before returning to graduate from Ohio Wesleyan University, and of course to get some of my mother's homemade chocolate chip cookies. Happy Mother's Day, Mom. And to all mothers here, thank you on behalf of the class of 2013. Now, while I was at home, I came across a pile of books by the philosophical guides of my childhood, Calvin and Hobbes. And in these books, I came across a comic strip in which Calvin was out trick-or-treating on Halloween, but he was dressed in regular street clothes. So when he's asked what he is dressed as for Halloween, I believe his response kind of taps into what Mr. Conrades was saying earlier. He says to the man who asked him this question, "Human kid." Poised with my cynical and alienated peers to take over the world when you are old and weak. Now I believe this comic would have been just as appropriate if instead Calvin had been wearing a black cap and gown. Because this is what it can feel like to stand at our graduation and look into the unknown future. And for our generation, for the millennials, this future looks rather bleak. We stand to inherit a more or less bankrupt world, a world in which the economy crashed in 2008, a world in which the environment is polluted and deteriorating, a world in which many of us seniors feel as if today at our graduations we stand poised on the precipice of our inevitable unemployment. So parents, if your children seem a little reticent to move on and find a job and take on the real world, understand that this might be why. That our generation doesn't want to grow up and take responsibility for a world that we feel we were not a part of corrupting. But also, parents, before you become too nervous, and to my fellow seniors, before we become too cynical, it's important for us to note that in the comic strip I mentioned earlier, Calvin was out trick-or-treating on Halloween. Calvin was in a costume. He was dressed up as a cynical and alienated kid. And this is a costume, my fellow seniors, that we often make the decision to wear. Sorry. But it's important for us to note that this is a choice. That we can choose to wear this costume of cynicism, or we can choose to take it off and have the courage to stand and be true to ourselves and be true to the reality of the world in which we live. Our generation faces unprecedented environmental, economic, and political challenges. But we have the capacity within ourselves to be the next great generation, to solve the woes of our world. The world needs change, my fellow seniors, and we will be the ones to bring it. Today, we don't stand poised to enter our unemployment. We stand ready to apply the critical thinking and creative problem-solving skills we've honed over our past 4 years here at Ohio Wesleyan University to solve the woes of our world. After receiving national recognition over the past 5 years for our community service, we know as graduates of Ohio Wesleyan University that we need to work together to make this future that we can leave to our eventual children better than it was left to us. We need to work together, in the words of the NASA motto, for the benefit of all. Thank you.
Thank you, Zeke, for your leadership throughout the year and for your challenging and inspiring words today. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in extending our congratulations to the Ohio Wesleyan class of 2013. To our graduates, these final words. If here at Ohio Wesleyan you have found freedom, take it with you into the world. If here at Ohio Wesleyan you have found peace, go and share it with others. If here at Ohio Wesleyan you have found some portion of truth, go and seek it all the more. If here at Ohio Wesleyan you have dreamed dreams, help one another, and those dreams may be fulfilled. If here at Ohio Wesleyan you have known love, give some back to a bruised and hurting world. May you, the Ohio Wesleyan University class of 2013, be as proud of yourselves and your accomplishments as all of us are of you. As I ring now the historic bell presented in 1842 that, as you have heard me say before, no longer rings so much as it clanks. But this is the bell that was used to convene classes here when they first met more than 17 decades ago. Will you please stand and join all of us in singing the Alma Mater? As the ceremony concludes, I ask the audience to remain in its place until the recessional is complete. I now declare that the 2012-2013 academic year is formally concluded. Congratulations, class of 2013.